Hello and welcome to another episode of SqEngineering. I'm Spiritus, and as you might have guessed, I'm outside, hat on, warm clothes on, and it's already dark outside. And this will be an episode about the E36, in which we will go from this, a semi-functioning display on the onboard diagnostic computer. It's actually looking a bit better than it was the last time, but we will go from this to this. But before we take care of that, I will take advantage of me actually going outside. So I will actually be doing some work in the engine bay. What you can hear is the fan. I have a heating fan inside the car just to, well, it haven't really been warm anytime since for the time that we've owned it. I also have behind me a torrball, so a simple device to collect moisture from the air, used to avoid mold and other stuff, take advantage of the heat, etc. But since it is as dark as it is, it won't really be working that well to bring out any of the GoPros. I would need a lot of extra lights and so on, and it's not really convenient, so I will do small check-ins. I have bought several hoses to sort of rearrange the order of the crankcase ventilation and the idle air pump. They are not really connected in a correct way right now, so I will take care of that, hopefully, which means that some intake parts will be removed. I also have a brand new correct alternator. Only took 3 tries, and switching from a cheap one to a not so cheap alternator, but we're going from, I guess, 90 to 140 amps. The old alternator will be kept as a backup. I don't think the longevity of my previous fix is that good, but it worked to demonstrate the function at least. So yeah, I will look at that. I also need to make the plate between the intake manifold and the throttle body, because we have the M50 intake manifold, the one that everyone wants because of the bigger runners, and that in combination with the M52 throttle body, which means that we have gaskets on both sides. So I will put a piece of aluminum plate in between so that it will seal off properly. What else? I will also make a small bracket to hold the oil dipstick. Maybe not today, but we have all weekend to do it. Install the alternator. Yeah, let's see what we can manage before I get too cold. So I actually started out with some light troubleshooting. The half beam was not working, and it turned out to be this fuse. I barred it from the right hand side, so we had this one which is blown. So now we have both low beam and high beam working. Also the angel eyes are working. So let's have a look at the other side. The right hand light off, and then right hand light on. So low beam is working, nothing else, I think. So we now have both low beam and high beam working. The problem was this. So we have a damaged wire which was shorting out against the body. We also have these two unknown, but I don't think they are unknown anymore because we have holes here above the kidneys, so, and also a relay here, and over there was a fuse at 30 amps. So I think these wires were used to control some extra high beam lights. I will remove this. Also, I was hoping that I could use the engine heater cable at least to get an outlet inside the car, but as it turns out, it's not connected. Okay, then I thought, well, let's connect it because it only needs to go over there. But down here, it's torn off. So I need a new cable for fixing that. But that's a small thing. And as you can see, it's starting to snow, or it's been snowing basically all day. And here I've removed, of course, the air filter box, the mass airflow sensor, and here we have the throttle body, and here we have the AIC throttle. This, the open hose here, that goes into the intake hose, and then we have a T-junction. So at first I thought, well, I made a mistake, it's correctly connected. But then I realized no, because this T actually needs to be going in to the orifice that you see inside the throttle body opening. So I do need to reroute some stuff. So it's good that I'm doing this now then, so that I can get both the crankcase ventilation with the CCV stuff down there going to a T-junction, and from the other end of that T-junction we have the idle valve, and then it goes into the orifice down there, or in there. And here is where we need to make the bracket, coming from this one, the oil stick, going up to, there is a nut just here that I will connect it to. So I will continue to remove stuff and then just cover things with plastic bags to avoid too much snow and moisture and stuff. So a few more things have been removed. The alternator, I won't install the new one until I'm finished with everything here. The CCV filtering system is removed, as well as the idle air control valve. I need to clean that, so I will do that with brake clean, I guess. And also that's the what's the word, the thing that connects to the plug on the other side. So I need to have the adapter for that, or maybe I can repurpose something like this. I don't know, we will see. I think this diameter is a tiny bit bigger than this though, but we will see. Yeah, and even if that works, then I'm not sure if that actually holds it in place properly, if it's enough with just pushing it in. And then down there is the oil dipstick. So let's see if we can see something. So down there in the oil pan, there you see it. You see something black. So I made a plug out of the boot for an ignition coil. So that's sealing the oil pan right now. Some previous owner, well, first of all, the O-ring is dry, and then they have welded here. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they broke it off, but anyway, this is not really optimal. So we will see if I will go the route of grinding this nice, because I think there's supposed to be like a lip pushing on the O-ring. So yeah, I have a new O-ring on the way at least. Maybe I need to order a new oil lipstick tube. And I need to find a place for this vacuum canister. That one was just hanging mid-air basically. So we have a few things to take care of. But maybe I will go inside and work on the display now. We'll see. I will start by removing some things. So before disconnecting the or while disconnecting the display, I'm looking how much room we have to play with regarding a hydraulic handbrake, and if it looks like 14 centimeter to this edge, but then if we want to keep it center, that means that we have 25 millimeters. So let's say 15 centimeters roughly. That would also give a good angle towards the driver. So 12.5 centimeters, 125 millimeter between center of the rod in the handbrake and where it needs to end. So let's keep that in mind. And we also have to consider the height. So 58 millimeters from the mat up to the edge, this edge, the first edge. But there might be even more room if we go down. Yeah, need to think about this. So it's actually the day after, and already getting dark outside. I didn't do the display like I said, and yesterday was also the evening where I reached 1,000 subscribers, so that's really cool. But anyway, as I mentioned, I removed the intake air control valve. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I would only need to shake it a little bit harder, but I've used some brake cleaner and some like WD-40 to lube it a little bit. So that's nice. I'm ready to go on. Then we have the guide for the dipstick, and as you see here, yeah, not really original. The stock pipe is actually bigger, like 5 millimeter bigger in diameter, I think, and it's sleeved, and in between that space is where the crankcase fluid goes in. So not really working, but there is some sort of connection between these two. So yeah, I will let this slide for now. I've grinded this lip a bit in order to get the O-ring to seat a little bit better. Yeah, so I can plug it back while I'm away from the weekend. But anyway, I grinded that both with an angle grinder and a file. I've cleaned it out with some brake cleaner. Seems clean, and also compressed air. And then we have the actual CCV valve in pieces, and it was actually looking quite nice, but I've cleaned that as well. If I anyway have it apart, then why not? So that's clean, ready to go back in. I also have a plate of aluminum somewhere that I've cut in preparation for making a bracket for the oil stick, oil dipstick guide. So yeah, so the way it was plumbed up until yesterday was that the crankcase ventilation was going into T connection, and the other two ends in that were between the idle valve and before the throttle, so the intake boot. Which means that there is some sort of force or flow generating a bit of suction in the CCV. So I think I'm gonna put it back for now, because I anyway don't have the actual valve, or not valve, but the connection going to the back of the intake manifold. They had this one, so this one I guess is from the M52. This one was just plugged in, and then the idle valve plugged into that. So I will put it back like that, just to sort of close things up while I'm away. So I will also reuse the old O-ring for the dipstick. It's not really 100%, but I'm still waiting on a new one, so it will come in. And I want to finish the bracket for it and so on. So let's do that. And again, no real purpose in having GoPro videos, so I'll catch back up with you in a bit. So the dipstick tube guide, or yeah, the tube is in place. I just took a piece of aluminum, bent it into a bracket, 2 M6 screws and some nuts, and it's done. So now we can move on with the next things to do. So I put so we have the CCV valve, we have the idle control valve underneath, and I also put the throttle and the ASC throttle in place just to seal things up. Out of these things here, we just need a hose clamp for the hose going to the brake booster. And again, as you can see, it's really sturdy. I did add some heat shrink just to sort of fill up the gap a bit. At least for now. I won't be running the engine like this, so it's just to keep water and stuff out. The hose going from the valve cover to the CCV valve is also installed. So I will put the intake boot back as well. So intake boot, mass airflow sensor, air filter box in place. Everything is buttoned up. So now I can safely leave it like this until next week or whenever. Need to wait for a few things, but let's take a look at the display. So as you can see or guess, I'm in the apartment doing some editing, etc. But yeah, I didn't feel like wasting time at the house and sunlight doing this that I can be doing inside. So I got the PixelFix kit for repairing the display, and this is then the 11 button version. And when you go on their homepage, you have 3 variants to choose from, maybe 4. I can't remember if 8 and 11 buttons are separate, but at least 3. And just as they state here, we get a replacement ribbon cable, so that's the actual fix. And underneath that we have these silicone strips, which are, according to the manual, bigger than the originals. And then I also added some extra light bulbs. But I'm not really sure why the kit is only 3 bulbs, because we actually have 4 in this unit. Maybe it's just for the big piece, I don't know. Luckily those aren't, at least all of them aren't broken, so we will see which I replace or if I even replace them. But we got the manual in paper, so everything was placed here and then wrapped around. That was quite nice. Everything arrived in a good condition. So we have the manual, and I will just follow it in order to install this ribbon strip. So the pictures in this manual are a bit dark. They actually look, yeah. But anyway, the first step is to get the back casing off. We do that by pressing down on 4 tabs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it will pop off. So basically I will follow the procedure, and if I come up with anything additional, then I will of course relay that to you. But maybe if you're doing this and don't think that the manual is clear, then perhaps this video might help you. So the back half is off, and we now have the circuit board and the back of the LCD, or the housing of the LCD, visible. Let's move on, which we do by getting the outer casing off, and we just simply press on these tabs, 1 on each side. And they also say that these tabs might, if the casing is old, these might hinder or be an obstacle for the display to come out. So just make sure that they don't catch on that. But we do the tabs and then we can push on the display. So it's out, and for me it was not these that I had a problem with. The problem was that someone had probably already been inside here, and so I found these small white plastic tabs, but these edges, or this edge I guess, sort of stuck on this ribbon cable, so it was a bit tricky to get it out. Hopefully it's not damaged, but we will see. And then the next step is to remove this plastic piece. So we have both here a divider, but we also have it here. So that one needs to be removed, and that is done by releasing these tabs. And after that we can remove these two screws. So I removed the frame and the screws. Here we have one of them broken, which is a clear indicator that someone have already been here inside here. And here we have one that's good. I will try and glue it back in place, at least so it looks right. Then we have the silicone strips. I think that someone have replaced these. And this small piece from this one was in between here. So I'm not sure, or yeah, it was pushing on somewhere. So maybe that was the reason why it didn't work or whatever. And this looks to be handmade. So I think someone have tried to fix it previously, but then failed. We have this diffuser, which is the first thing to go in behind the display in this area. And then after that we have this orange film. This one is supposed to have tabs, so it sort of latches on here. And the same on the other side. They have broken that. So yeah, these strips needs to be removed. This strip and the ribbon cable needs to be removed. And then I have some cleaning things. So I will clean the contact surfaces. I will be very careful when I'm cleaning the contact surface on the LCD. I will be less careful when I'm cleaning the contact surface here on the circuit board. And I think I also will clean up the soot in here where the bulbs are. So I finally managed to get the ribbon cable in place. I've done a bit of soldering just to keep it on. I'm really not sure if this will work. It fell apart the last time I tried to put this white piece of plastic back. So now I have some reinforcement tape. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise I will just have to get another kit and try again. And there you have it, all back together. It was tricky to get it back together, and I'm still not sure if this will work. Won't be until I connect it in the car. One screw missing because the mount broke. We also have these small plastic pieces missing. So yeah, we will see how this goes. Complete failure. So my repair didn't work. I don't blame it. So another thing that was bad was the lock for the trunk. It was so bad that the previous owner actually drilled a hole just to be able to open the trunk lid. So I've taken it apart, I've cleaned it, and now it works. The only thing is I couldn't get to the lock, you know, the pieces that follow the key, which are inside here. And I don't want to remove or risk destroying it, but this was, I was able to clean it with some spray and repeated movement with the key. So it's working. I have this one left to clean on the inside. I will put some lube in a few places and then get everything back together. So a few things to look out for. When you have this piece, in order to know what's up and down, it can go in either like this or like this. So in order to determine that, you take this piece, and once you have that on, you can take the thing stopping, or let's say activating the opening function. So if this one is like that, then it can turn like so. So here it would open this. So if we then remove this one and then this one, we notice that we have this sort of this this part of the rod needs to point upwards. And another thing is this disc, which is locking everything inside here. So we have these raised tabs. They go in the middle here on each side, and also on the back side we have a raised circle that fits in the spring. And we have two very small things, so one ball bearing and one spring, and that goes inside here, this hole. So you will hold it in there while you attach this piece. This spring goes down here, locks it to this tab, and then we have this circlip which goes on top here. The lock is reassembled, and the ball bearing in here, I shot it away in the room twice. I can't believe I was actually able to find it, but now this works. Let's see if we can hold on. That's all right. You see, it's working fine. Not sure if it should spring back more, but I'm happy with this. You anyway need to return the key in the original position in order to get it out. So I'm sitting here and editing the video that you just saw, and I realized that I did not make an outro. The reason for that was because at the time of filming this, which was in the end of 2023, I basically filmed whenever I did something and didn't really have like a single topic to follow, since the car was not really ready to be taken on public roads. But anyway, we did not succeed with the PixelFix, as you saw. So to compensate that, I added the lock for the trunk just to offset the negativity. But I do have another kit, and in the instructions it's said that no soldering is required, but to be on the safe side I bought these. So these are a set of 3 soldering tips, but not really for soldering, it's for heating up. So it even have this silicone strip. So the idea is to heat up the ribbon cable and make it stick. So hopefully that will be a better solution. I don't really trust just the tape solution, but we will see. Worst case, I get to do it again some other time. But there will be another video about this down the line. If you're following me on Instagram, you have seen that we have reached quite a lot further than what you saw. So the videos aren't really up to date, but I am working on that, and hopefully there will be episodes which follow a single topic more better and so on. We will see. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe. Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.